Good afternoon, everyone. House taxation will be called to order. I promise to get everybody out by 5 tonight. First item of business would be a request for bill introductions. Do we have any requests? I do have one. It is 26 RS 3162. This will be a bill regarding our policy statewide for penny rounding with the elimination of production of the penny. A lot of states are trying to produce some policy and guidance for retailers and administration on how to handle rounding transactions. So that's what that bill will do. Is there any questions? Any objection? Seeing none, the request will be approved. Is there any further requests for bill introductions? Seeing none. Committee, I do want to make an announcement. We had Senate Bill 402 scheduled to work today. In visiting with a few folks, there's some amendments that are not ready for that. So we are going to push Senate Bill 402 to Wednesday, March 11th. And that leaves the only item we had on here, House Bill 2773 to address today. And so I'll turn to the reviser to give us an overview on that bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2773 provides for the apportionment of business income for manufacturers of alcoholic liquor. It was set up kind of a bifurcated process where if it was a general manufacturer, they would receive or have a apportionment based on the three-factor formula. However, a qualifying Kansas investor would be able to apportion their income based on the single factor, sales factor. This would depend on whether or not the manufacturer had an average value of real and tangible personal property owned or rented that exceeds $5 million in the state, and the total amount of compensation paid in the state would exceed $2 million.
Thank you, Adam. Committee, are there any questions? If not, we will go ahead and open up discussion on the bill. I did have a number of conversations regarding this bill here. I did want to offer an amendment. There was a previous bill, House Bill 2442, that kind of followed the same concept of last year, where it was a mandatory single factor. There was no retention, there was no level or carve out for that. So if the reviser would want to pass that out, I just wanted to, in light of the conversations, have some discussion on this and see where the committee wanted to go. Okay, it looks like everybody's had a chance to get a hold of that language. I might have the reviser just give a quick overview on what the amendment is doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The amendment essentially is striking on page 8 the new subsection F. In totality, should the amendment get on and the bill pass, essentially a carve out for alcoholic manufacturers would be no longer, and so they would default to the single factor apportionment come January 1 of 2027, once that fully goes into effect. So there would be no special provision for alcoholic manufacturers.
Thank you, Adam. If I just wanted to explain this a little bit more, the original bill, 2442, when we passed the single factor apportionment bill last year, the subsection F excluded manufacturers of alcoholic liquor. And the original bill that came to us near the beginning of the session simply struck that out. So we would now be incorporating them into the single factor apportionment. They would not be excluded. House Bill 2773 created a kind of a separate provision to where the in-state businesses could move to single factor, yet out-of-state businesses could remain three-factor. I just wanted to have the discussion in light of the conversations that I'd had after the hearing. I wanted the committee to be able to have a discussion on this and see which way we wanted to go moving forward. But Representative Francis?
So I'm just trying to understand. This would takes care of the issue that we had with the in-state manufacturer, and then it treats the out-of-state manufacturers like every other out-of-state manufacturer for other products. Is that right?
Well, I'm not sure it'll be every out-of-state manufacturer, but the ones that were mandated to move to single factor. We didn't have any provisions in last year's bill that, in-state could go to single factor and out-of-state could stay with the three factor. It's treating them the same as that was.
Like if you were an out-of-state cigarette manufacturer or an out-of-state sushi manufacturer, this would treat them like that probably.
In theory, I'm not sure if you're, I'm not sure what those.
We could talk to some sushi people.
Yeah, I'll let you talk to them. We do have an amendment. I'll look, see if there's a second on the amendment. If there's not, we'll just move right along. But is there a second on the amendment? Representative Awerkamp for the second. Representative Smith, did you have discussion?
If I could, the amendment, everybody would be treated the same?
Yes, it would be mandatory for everyone to move to single factor apportionment.
A wise man told me everybody should be treated the same. So thank you.
Representative Kessler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Were you saying that this moves back to out-of-state manufacturers can go three-factor, or this eliminates all of that?
This would eliminate all that. It would mandate that your in-state and out-of-state manufacturers of alcoholic liquor would be single factor.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I quite agree with that, but I understand completely.
Is there any further discussion, committee? Representative Turner?
Thank you. You said in 2442 that this additional language section F came in, is that right? So we did kind of lay them out specifically, alcohol manufacturers or liquor. So I'm just curious what the original logic was there versus today. Thanks.
The section F of the original bill, starting there at line 41, 42, and 43 on page 7, that was included in last year's bill. I'm not sure what the discussion was, why we exempted them necessarily at that point, but we did not require this specific group of manufacturers of alcoholic liquor to be mandated within that change from three-factor to single-factor. So we're essentially striking the exclusion there.
Yeah, I was just curious the motive of the exclusion.
Yeah, I don't remember the conversation, what that was. Representative Kessler.
Yeah, I believe alcohol was excluded because it's kind of a unique industry where we mandate it by law. They have to go through a three-tier system. So you have a company that manufactures. When they look at the three different factors, you got payroll, property, and sales. They own, in this particular case, because we disallow it, they own no property, they have no sales force, all they have are sales into the state, which is why if we do single factor, their payments go like skyrocketing up because they're only allowed to do it off of sales. But the carve out was to leave the 3-factor system in there where they could still have a proportionate on there, but it would be considerably lower than single factor off of sales. They can't do the other factor singly because they don't have it. And that's the reason we force them to go into a 3-tier system is why we kind of carve them out, because we don't have too many companies that we force into a 3-tier system. And they pay quite a bit of gallonage tax to the state already. We still pay sales tax on top of all of that as well. And they're still taxed from the feds and from the state in multiple times. And that's part of the reason why they got a carve out. I think they deserve it actually, but that's just me.
Representative Corbett?
This may follow up with the last comment. Excuse me. You think this would hurt the industry or make it better, Representative? I mean, I'm not in the business, so I don't know. So, Representative, in the business that you know, would this be better for the business climate, or would it make it worse?
It would immediately cause, Chair, sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. It would immediately cause their prices to change. I mean, it's a significant enough of a jump, working that tax out on a single factor from their sales only. It would be a significant price jump just immediately. It'd be overnight across all packages. I mean, we treat beer quite a bit different than we do any other product, any other manufacturing product. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, it's not a reason, but I mean, just to keep in mind, I mean, it's the only consumable product that we have in our Constitution, right? It's not even in our Constitution once, but it's in there twice. And no other consumable product is in our Constitution. That's why we treat it differently. And we have so many safeguards and so many steps along the way, things that they have to do. It's regulated like crazy, but that was the specific reason.
Representative Smith?
Mr. Chair, thank you. Would you mind if I asked the representative a question?
Go ahead.
Representative, I've always lived on the east side of Kansas, the whole state, most of the population. And it's awful easy to run to Missouri if we would pass this. You say it's a significant jump. Can you be a little more specific about that? Thank you.
I'm not a lobbyist for them, but I do remember something like that in their statement when they were testifying.
I might see if, Eddie, would you be willing to I asked you about the fiscal note, kind of compare the difference in the fiscal notes, or just try to see what kind of, or talk about what was the original fiscal note on 2442 and
2442 has a fiscal note that anticipates increased state revenues from that in an amount of $1.3 million in fiscal year 28 and 29. The one note I would have for that is you might remember that last year's bill did include a rate reduction trigger kind of conceptually associated with the transition to it. So that 1.3 million would conceptually feed into the possibility of that rate reduction trigger, but it's uncertain if that rate reduction threshold would even be met anyway.
All right, any further discussion, committee? Representative Averkamp?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do like the amendment. I do like how it simplifies. Gets everybody working on the same factor. And yeah, I think it's a lot of details, I'm sure, but I think where states are moving to the single factor, it does give in-state businesses a slight advantage over out-of-state in a lot of situations. So I think for the simplification factor, as well as kind of the little advantage for in-state businesses, I do believe it's a good amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Seeing no further discussion, I'll go ahead and move my amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion carries. Anyone wishing to be recorded? Okay, we are back on the bill. Any further discussion on the bill? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion on the bill. Representative Sawyer.
I move we pass the bill, House Bill 2773 favorably as amended.
We have a motion for Representative Sawyer, second by Representative Hoheisel. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Committee, that's all the business we had on the books for today. We are going to try to continue to push through as much as we can this week. Things are rapidly coming to a close, so it's been a pleasure this year, but not quite done yet. So thank you, everybody, for your time and attention, and we're adjourned.